obviously say, yeah, this went wrong. They wouldn't do that. They're too afraid. Anyway, so these boats like this have been going out for 125 or so years. The first boats were all wooden. These boats were made in 1965 that you're seeing here on our dock today. And they're wood, but with mostly metal with wood trim. The similarities they have with the early boats is the glass. We're about 15 feet deep right here. It's always going to be deeper than you think it is. And we're going to average around 15 feet, but the glass is not magnified. It's what it is. No magnification at all. It's a half-inch thick. Also, these motors right here that are propelling this boat are the same motors that have been used for almost 100 and some years. These particular motors are 20-horse electric outboards, and they're powered by 16 batteries under your seat, and they're made by this Elko manufacturing company. We started making these in 1893. We're still buying the same motor from the same company at the same location in 2026. So that's the tradition of the electric motors here. I have 50 volts, so when I shut my power off, it just kills the voltage for the batteries. And that's what it's doing. That's why it's so quiet. It's not required to have these on the river. That's our goal. Let's talk about our itinerary a little bit. If we go down the river, we're going to show you everything with the boat show you on the river. We're going to talk about springs and movies and things like that. And then we're going to head down the river for an hour and go for wildlife. And then we're going to come back and pick up the spring tour again for movies and things. So for a half hour, you get to do everything the other boats have been doing. And then for an hour, you'll be heading back. Now we're on the Silver River. It's 5 miles long. It is always about 72 degrees Fahrenheit when it's spring, summer, fall. And the water is all drinking. In fact, it's all bottled here locally by Silver Springs Bottling Company. And they private bottle it for Walmart, Winn-Dixie, and Audi stores as spring water. Mainly because there's a lot of limestone rock. Now the way springs happen, for those of you who don't know, below the earth here at different depths, different lengths and so on, is large bathtubs of water we call aquifers. And aquifers are simply what's storing our drinking water supply. And so our drinking water here is about 1,000 feet deep, big bathtub filled with water. The water is 72 degrees and 99.8% pure. And when it overflows, this bathtub overflows from rainwater or whatever we get, hurricanes, it comes out the top. And it can easily come out the top in Florida because right below us and all through the river and all through the state are these limestone ledges right here below us. These limestone ledges are simply limestone rocks. And why that's easy to come out, because limestone naturally has cracks and crevices and pores, and it's soft rock. So it's really easy for things to come out. And so that's why we have so many springs, because our underground drinking water supply has a way out, and that's from limestone. No limestone, probably not many springs in Florida. But anyways, we have 30 in this 5-mile stretch. This particular spring, any hole that you see under like a ledge is called a vent. And again, that's just water coming from your drinking water bathtub, you might say, under the earth. This one's running about 20 million gallons of water a day, and this is our smallest spring that we have on the river. We'll be getting larger as we go. Now, we call this here the Spring of the Stars, and for a lot of you, you're too young to remember, but you'll have to indulge me because I enjoy talking about the sentimental nature of this place, because again, anybody from the north took their kids here on vacation. This was a big deal. And there were 66 movies and television shows made here, so my team was actors all over the place. A lot of fancy. I'm going to name some for you. One of them was right below us called The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Right here in these little caves and caverns. His name was Rico Browning, but his claim to fame was he was Gillman. And he would swim out of those caves and grab people. He was our horror film today. So people like Greta Garbo, Ava Gardner, Esther Williams, Burt Reynolds, Jackie Gleason, Sean Connery, doing filming here because ABC controlled the lease at Silver Springs. That's why the movies were here. And they culminated in really 1960s. And again, 9,000 people a day here then. 3 James Bond movies filmed right here as well. Never Say Never, Thunderball, and Moonraker with Roger Moore and Sean Connery. And our 1924 Olympic swimming champion at the end of 1928 made this place famous. His name was Johnny Weissmuller, not Michael Phelps. And he was Tarzan right here as well. So everything you could think of in the day, anybody in the acting business was here doing movies. This was the place to be. Now, it was so good, 9,000 people a day. What happened? I told you there was 800. What happened everybody? Well, it went from about 9,000 to about 2,000 or 3,000 in 1 week for a reason in the early 70s. Anybody know why that was? Walt Disney. Walt Disney came to existence and built up the business. ABC was a competitive company then. Now you know that Walt Disney owns ABC. No difference today. Back then they said, you know what? We're going to move on. We had a good run here. We got other things we can do. So on and so forth. And the rest is history. They'll give it back to the state. Sometimes you'll see some bubbling in this one. So you might look down next and see some shells and rocks, which is all limestone pieces coming from this limestone rock, all bubbling up. And again, that's from the limestone rock. And sometimes you'll see some movement down there. You see those little bubbles down there coming out? Sometimes the light will just hit it just right, but you can see it. I'll be spinning the guys around to the left. So one side, sometimes the right side will see it first, and then the left side, and that's how we'll work it today. What's that?
Snow globe.
Yep. So again, that's water coming out of a vent from underneath the ground, which is your drinking water supply. Now, you notice all those the ramps that you got on today. Those ramps should be level. The water is really low right now. And the reason it's low, the rainfall hasn't appreciably changed, even though we're lower this year. You look at a 30-year history, it's really up and down. But the amount of people using out of this aquifer has increased dramatically. So what happens is the flow is about half of what it was 50 years ago of these springs. They were 800 million a day, now we're 400. It's still overflowing, which means we still have springs. If the aquifer would ever get low below its crest and not overflow, there'd be no springs. So what happens is use is going up, flow is going down, and the amount of nitrates coming into the water from fertilizer things have been going up exponentially. So the water's a little dirtier than it was when I came as a kid. It has even a blue hue to it, but it's real clear generally. But that's why, because the flow's going down, nitrates are going up, which grows algae. Algae increases, has a detrimental impact on the visibility, and so that's why things are down like they were. There's only one thing that saves Florida. Otherwise, they'd be shutting the door and say, sorry, out of business, too many people, and that's hurricanes. Hurricanes bring us 30 to 50 inches of rain, and so all the water managers in the world, if they'll be honest with you, beg for hurricanes to come. Beg. Because there wouldn't be enough water to support everybody if they didn't. So even though we're talking about those ramps being low, so we get a big hurricane this year, the ramps come back to level, we quit talking about it. Water managers don't mention anything about being low. I don't even mention low flow on my boats anymore. All of a sudden everything's hunky-dory, we're good, and then all of a sudden we get a big push of people again, and we get just a little less rain, and we get no hurricanes for a year or two, and there we are again, not enough water. So hurricanes are, in spite of how much damage they cause, the saving grace to our water supply. Otherwise, like we've had all these rains recently, and the water's still going down. It didn't go up at all. The rain won't do it. In fact, they believe that this water coming out of these springs, we got one right below us too. This one's 40 feet deep. Again, about 60 million gallons of water a day. First one was 20, this one's about 60. About 40 feet deep down there. So the rainwater, they believe, coming out of these springs was deposited in the grass in your yard or wherever it comes out of, goes down through all the sediment layers, goes down through the limestone rock into the aquifer that comes out of the spring. They believe that's somewhere between 17 to 26 years old. So this water is very old water coming out here now, maybe 20 years old water. So what happened 20 years ago has an impact, not just today. So keep that in mind about springs. It takes a long time for it to get through the system. It comes out at certainly a high pH 7.8 because of all the limestone rock, very high pH rock. And so the calcium comes off the rock. And there we are. The rest is history. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn right up here, head down the river. And if we kept going down the river far enough and hard enough, there would be a sign that said, "Welcome to Jacksonville, Florida. You are now in the Atlantic Ocean." That's where this would end. So as we go, we're going to be looking, we're going to turn this into a wildlife trip now. Left side will be looking to the right side will be looking to the left side. You can stand up, turn around, and wherever you like to use, feel comfortable. Are we looking, we're going to be looking at the water, and on the end is an alligator, turtle, bird. So I will turn you guys where I can. There's some places today, because the water's so low that I can't turn anymore because the logs in the water and stuff underneath the water. So you'll have to be diligent with me, very patient with me, but I will wreck it. My goal is for everybody to see the same thing. As nobody tells me, nobody knows what how other community relates to me. So give them about 40 feet deep here. We will eventually get to 50 feet at some point. You guys see that geezer that was up there? What you got?
There's two gators.
Okay, two of them?
Yeah, there's definitely one there.
There's a big one. And it's not a problem. They like teal colored t-shirts is what they like. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know.
Oh, I see him.
So where I can turn, I will. You guys keep looking.
That was really big.
Move on. It isn't? Otherwise, we'll be glad you found it. So what happened? The state gave it back and then made it a state park in 2013. So that's why you see kayakers and paddleboards we're sharing with here. Anybody can come here, even in a boat, because there is a place to put in about 4 miles from here called Roadside Park. It is a state park now, protected wildlife. So look around, keep your eyes open. What a beautiful day though, huh? And Sam Whiskey was a Western movie starring Burt Reynolds, Angie Dickinson, Cliff Walker, and Ozzie Davis, 4 famous actors of their day. It was sunk right here, and there was a treasure on it, a treasure chest. And the deal is that they all, once it sank, they wanted to go find that box that had gold and silver in it. And so they were all trying to outdo each other in this movie called Sam Whiskey, which you can YouTube. Dive down and get this stuff. They wanted to get the box before the others got it. So that was the story. This is one of the 3 movie props that are left from all the good old days of the 66 movies and hundreds of TV shows and commercials that were filmed here. Again, ABC was in the business movies and television shows, and that's what they did. They also owned Paramount Motion Picture Company back then, which is now Paramount Plus on TV. So everything about that goes for movies and television shows. So don't hesitate to look. If you don't look, you won't find anything. We're around at 4 or 5, so someplace you can turn these things, someplace we'll be there on the way back. So keep your eyes open. So you never know where they're going. I'll be looking at the glass. The doors will be looking as well. Again, most of them are going now. About an hour and a half west of us is the largest concentration of manatees in the world. It's called Crystal River. We have 50 at our best. They will have 3,000. You can swim with them there, including now. So that's a place you really want to see a lot of manatees. That would be the spot to go. We got 3,000 or 5,000 that exist. We may have 50 of the entire river at best. Not today. We may probably have 4 or 5, I would say. So they're all headed back to then you go some 300 miles from here again. There they came from. And where they're going back to. That's over in Crystal River area. Yep. Right downtown to the hotel called Kingsway.
Oh my God.
2,400 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big as they get. That's as big as they get right there. I'm going to go down here and turn around for you guys. I'm going to get us a good spot. We'll see him again. Again, they come here to get fresh water, have their babies. They're not fat at all. They don't have any body fat hardly. But this grass, you see this grass right ahead of us? That's grass that they've eaten. They eat the roots off of it, and the rest just floats down the river. And that's what ends up making all these islands that you see. This grass that the manatees did not eat. There's a big great white heron to the right. We're about 45 feet deep here.
You see a veil now, that's how you can see it.
I can spin here. Sometimes I can't because of the lines, but I can get around here. So pretty cool creatures. Again, they have no known enemies except mankind with boats, with props, because they come out, they don't mean to, but they come out in the ocean. You know, boats are moving along pretty good clip, and then they come up on them, so they come up, and then the other thing is cold water. Anything below 68, they're not going to survive. You get pneumonia. Those are the two issues they have. Trees that block gators, that block big fish, and so we're about 80% less fish populations than we were before the dam. There's a big argument that a lot of people want to take the dam out, some want to keep it. It's a fight right now. It's called the Kirkpatrick Dam. 84 miles. So manatees cannot swim here freely, or alligators, or fish. If they don't open the lock for them, they can't swim. Let's see if we can see that big one again. There it is. You see all those marks on the back? That's where they were hit by boats. That's as big as they get. That might be as big as I've ever seen it. That's huge. You know, as they eat to get that big, right? If they eat this grass, is what they eat. Well, don't be surprised if it doesn't swim to us. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here, but don't be surprised if it doesn't swim to us. Because it loves us. We've been here 125 years. Those kayakers, they don't like them. But they don't mind us. They don't mind us. They just don't like them, of course. They're not used to them. There he is. Left side. They'll avoid us. supply, that's the biggest problem that we have. Seems like an invention, but I guess it could be an invention too, because you use 10 gallons to brush your teeth and before it wouldn't have done that because you don't want to go get the water in here. I wish there was an arrow in the sky that said monkeys here, alligators here, manatees here. Doesn't work that way. These big trees are all bald cypress, they're all protected. Turtles there. There's a manatee to the left up here. Left, see, left of that orange flag. He's got a baby deer. Good size there. Looking for a place to land. When it gets cloudy, they'll start to swim and look for the bank. They want sun. That's what they really want, the sunshine. They'll do anything to get to a sunshine spot. Otherwise, they'll be on the move. There's a great one here to the right there. Cool bird. So keep your eyes open. Woods. They feed alligators and monkeys at certain spots with fruit. There'll be a bunch of them, 20 to 30 of them in a group. And you really want to be able to live in the lakes and the spot. There are elephants and camels, all of them with leather bears. They're all here. This was the heyday before Disney. And the particular show was about being in Greece. Was that they jumped in the water and found these Greek gods down there. And that's what we have now, is these three Greek gods. Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. I'll spin you back around. There's two of them up at the Discovery Center. They took out of here and just set up there where you can see them. Left side, I'll see them good, and I'll spin around to the right.